and roll. Get my stuff all situated. All right, call to order, special budget workshop meeting, August 13th, 2024, City of Bay, St. Louis. First thing on the agenda is mayor's report, presentation, municipal clerk certifications, diplomas. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, that Tuesday night coming up. They wanna take this time to thank y'all. You know, they spent 4 years, I think it's a 4-year process, to get the city closed. So, I wanna thank y'all for sticking with it and everything it'll bring to y'all in the future to the city of Bay St. Louis. Thank y'all. So we got Linda.
Yeah, there's 2 for each of them. And we'll do a group
They get
picture.
the button too,
Y'all
right?
do it.
Wait, oh, yeah.
Don't forget the button.
Got your
Yeah.
pen. Gotta get
We
your
got
pen.
Caitlin.
Woo!
And we got Shanae.
Woo!
And we got Miss Katie.
We'll get a picture all
But
y'all together at council.
We still have a couple more in the process. I think a couple years, we're still looking at, some of them. But again, it took them 4 years to get this, very reserved.
4 years to get a 2-year degree. Good job.
So
Wish they would speed it up.
Yeah.
but they don't.
y'all kind of get together,
Joshua.
take a quick picture. I'll make a couple other comments on that, just so they understand how in depth this training course is.
Yeah, no.
Thank
Just a bad one.
So it's a 3-year program.
3 years.
Generally Wednesday through Friday, 2.5 full days, 8 to 5 of classes with an hour lunch. There's generally 2 classes in the morning, 2 classes in the evening. Is that right, lady, that we do? And at the end of every class, there's actually a test that they have to pass.
What?
One,
I don't have
Unlike the MML where you give them a barcode and they check you in, they actually have to pass a test at the end. It's a 3-year program, like I said.
Awesome.
Most of them carpool to Hattiesburg early in the morning to get there for 8. They do serve a nice breakfast for free. Then carpool home. So there's a sacrifice. There's a class in the spring and a class in the fall. They rotate these classes over every 3 years. If you miss a class or miss a semester, you got to wait 3 more years
Wow.
for it to come back. So it's a commitment. So
Awesome.
it's hard work for them, and the training of it pays off because then they start to recognize things when we're making decisions and trying to make purchases or other things happen.
Good.
So appreciate their time.
Keep us in check.
Good.
very good.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Congratulations.
4 more sets of eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Congratulations.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
All righty, next thing up on
Y'all don't
the,
need to stay.
oh, I'm sorry.
Margarita.
Y'all was gonna talk?
Caitlin, your margarita's calling you.
Oh, that's right, she's gonna email it in. Right. We'll read it at the next council
Yep.
meeting.
Thank you.
Next is the library funding request. A little history here. The county,
What's up there, Mike? Oh, Josh.
the county has submitted $100,000 for their budget. It has not been approved. I'm not sure if they are gonna approve it or not. Waveland is still working on their budget. They haven't had a budget meeting, according to one of their aldermen. So nobody has did anything on this, right? They were asking, the library was asking the county for 187 maybe?
Yeah, 180
Something, right? So, quite honestly, I'm not gonna, at this point, I'm not gonna go to battle for anything. My personal opinion, right, if we need to amend the budget after we see what, if we choose to do that down the road, again, right, I understand the concept, they need to pay their people more, right? We all need to do that. I've looked at their endowment fund. So their endowment fund is invested to $7 million, and that's where it get to $330-something thousand a year from the interest, from the endowment, or from the, say endowment,
Yeah.
whatever. they-
Foundation.
Foundation,
Right.
right? So they can't, they start pulling that out to use for operating funds, then you diminish your, earning capacity over time.
One of the things too,
But I
I
don't
think,
think they can use that for operating.
Well, I mean, if they
I mean,
took
it
$1
could be
million
a quote.
out of it, right?
yeah,
Right, I mean, but
I
yeah.
think
diminish.
Jeffrey asked, I think it was Jeffrey, you know, when we did this some years ago, we looked at, and I think they had $1 million in their reserve fund.
Well,
Is
I
that-
had asked the question about.
Was that you?
Jeffrey and I were both asking the
Yeah.
question, and I think initially he said he thought he had about 600,000 in
Correct.
reserve. But I think they have 600,000 in reserve, but they have 400,000
Correct.
CDs that they can't.
They
touch.
still got that $1 million
But they still got
just
their $1 million,
moved over,
so
yeah,
Correct,
It's not been depleted, and that's what Jeffrey and I were talking about.
Right.
was
correct.
If they had depleted it down 400,000 over the last
right.
7 years that we've been here, then, I could see
Yes.
upping it 25,000
Right.
to help them out. But if they haven't depleted their reserves at all, I think
Right.
if they wanna pay their people more, they could dip into that a little bit.
Correct.
Yeah, I think
But
that-
that's
I
all
think they
kind
used
of
1%, the $6,000, I think they said they used last
13,000.
fiscal year, right?
Yes.
Something like that, yeah.
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
interest or something to come up 13, yeah, somewhere around there. So I mean, has anybody got any other comments on that?
the email that he sent in,
I think we hold off, like you said, and if we
Yeah.
decide to do something, if everybody else steps up, maybe we step
Yeah,
up.
we can amend the budget later on, ask Mr. Russo about that, and, any
Yes.
point of time, we can amend the budget if
Anytime.
so be it, right?
I'm good with that, Doug. I
Okay.
agree with you guys on that. If we need to revisit that down the road, but for now,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we good on that?
for now it's a no.
And
yes.
the
Um,
budget currently does not have that
And
in it.
With- yes.
It's level at the same funding it was last year.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
Utility billing contract discussion, got that email today, this afternoon, thank you for that, very in-depth, I understand. I'm not, again, I think this extra sets of eyes are good, but I think the administration detailed, enough. Again, like to see data, like to understand what we're doing instead of just doing something, cause I'm always gonna ask questions, why we're changing if something's working, right? And they said Ms. Linda is ready to carry the ball for us, and, we have a lot of confidence in her. She was a
Yes.
great employee for the short time she worked for us.
Yes.
But no, I understand, right, and again, I don't like to just change for the sake of change until I understand why the change, and if it's,
The only thing we did update on that was, with the situation we had, in there, we're gonna probably carry it over to the first of the year.
Okay.
Before we make that swap, give time to move
Right.
our part-time position into full-time, get a little more training with her, help Linda, we got someone, we'll have someone coming on board, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We have a position in place, we can put them as well to get them in there, and by the first of the year, that's 4 or 5 months, they'd be here another 4 or 5 months, with the other one down for training and everything.
Okay.
So,
yeah, Kyle, you saw the email or,
yeah. No, I'm good. I echo you, Councilman Steele. Thanks for the breakdown. And I spoke with the mayor and Ronnie too, just to kind of
Yep.
discuss operational. They said that and I kind of viewed it when I first came in that was kind of a, let's get temporary fix, let's get them in, get things that we know we've got to get done, and now if we've got the internal capacity to do it, that's primary focus. I mean, I think that needs to be the way to do it. So.
cool.
And while we're here and Linda's sitting right here, I would like to just recognize Linda, has been doing a fantastic job as kind of supervisor over those clerk department, and just the initiative of, and that leadership of that sometimes she takes, and just not wanting to learn, but wanting to get it right, wanting to do different things and finding what's making something wrong, and not, digging and digging until she gets it right.
Good.
Even if it gets encode on the phone, and sometimes you gotta wait a little bit for encode, but while she's here in front of y'all, just like to give her a pat on the back,
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank
just
you.
like all of our employees. Thank you.
We're still not mad.
Mhm.
All right, Mr. Mayor, grass cutting contract, now you said you need to increase that from
Yeah,
fuelage
we
and
did,
fuel
we
and stuff.
increased it there,
Yep.
and while we're doing this, we're also looking at a couple other opportunities that we're working on as far as our parks and all, maybe subcontracting that out to some, you know, to another, I guess, company that does that for a lot more, taking care of parks and that type deal.
Field maintenance and such.
Yeah, and so, you know, we're looking at the complex and maybe another one over there, and we would just take that out. We
So
have
we
it
just
in
pulled
the
that, yeah,
budget.
cause each one of those are broke down by areas per
Yes.
cut, right?
We
So
would
can.
pull it out of that one
Itemized.
and just put it over there,
Okay.
it'd be just like, you know,
Yep.
another service. So
Okay.
we have that in there, we're still waiting on some information, you know, some final information on that, you know, and then also some, you know, I think it would leave Steve to give him an opportunity, you know, he's pretty busy, you know, but these
Too
two
much.
big areas would be something he wouldn't have to worry about, and he can focus more on, you know,
Okay.
everything else now. So, but that is all in, you know, what we have
Yep.
And I
in
know-
here and all in the budget, still balanced budget and everything.
I know you talked
Yeah.
about that including possibly, the current guys, cutting the four corners more often.
Well, and
So
yeah,
is that budgeted in as well? change?
that's all, that's in here to where, you know, he might give up this here, but we're gonna take in the four corners every time he cuts 603, we're gonna cut the four corners. Well, that's our interest out there, you know, doing it once a month, every, you know, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, you know, it doesn't take long for grass to grow and it really looks bad.
Mm.
So this will give the opportunity to cut all four corners of the interstate, all four corridors in there, all down to where we go, you know. And that's gonna be huge. Ronnie's got a couple little, he's got a couple little ditches he wants to add, which is very minimum, to where we can't get in there with the big tractor through these people's yards without tearing them up and all. And so, you know, and he's helped us on that already.
Okay.
I think he's pretty much doing like in between, Highland, Esplanade, that area through the ditches there. And then over on Seventh Street and all, some other areas, taking care of those ditches in there as well. So,
Cool.
but everything that we believe we can get, and all talking with different ones, is in the budget and be ready to go.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Hey, Doug, I had a quick question for the mayor on that with the grass cut. Hey, Mike, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
sir.
Okay, hey, so you mentioned maybe, you know, maybe getting a different group or subcontract group to focus on the fields. And because right now we have, 22 cuts I think he's doing for the soccer fields, and then, can't remember, somewhere close to that for baseball in the off season. So would that increase, how would that work with the increase? So would he subcontract that, Lombardo? Like that's going to be something he would subcontract to a group, or?
No, Kyle, that would be us contracting it out with a different one.
So we would take it out of Lombardo's.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we'd
put
remove it,
directly
we'd
to
remove it
somebody
from
else.
Okay.
Lombardo's
Yes.
contract.
What is that? Do we have that dollar amount of what that taking that out? What that would
Yes.
amount?
It's-
I mean,
It's
broke-
like, I think one
down.
complex is 13.2, the other one is 12.8, give or take. That's if they cut 22 times. And
Okay.
then, you know, the interstate cutting it is about a wash with the 12,000, 12.5, somewheres in there. He's already given us the price on cutting the four corners up there. And so that would be a wash out of his and everything, then we would take the rest of it and put over there towards the other. Yeah, and with this, you know, with the other contract and everything, you know, we talking about doing air rate and everything twice a year and all, spreading fertilizer, seeds if need be, you know, and there's, what we have to talk to on the complex is having them game ready.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot more good field maintenance instead of just grass.
Yeah, this is a lot more than that. This is the whole thing. This is putting out the ant poison and
Yeah.
everything else and everything. But it's also, we're looking at trying to work up something where the fields, at the baseball complex, they'll be game ready. And so with that, he would handle rainouts as well, try to get people here to get them ready to go. You know, he does very well with the county if that's who we choose to go with, but that's what we're expecting. You know, that type of, you know, professional job on our fields and everything, no matter who it comes from.
And when you say game ready, you gonna chalk the fields and
Yeah,
everything?
this can be everything, chalking the fields, dragging the fields,
Breaking.
keeping them cut out, keeping the infield up. You know, we get Common J Field ready for OLA before we hand it over. He would come, you know, we would get them to come in and do that, you know, and have it ready to hand over to them, you know, in prestigious shape and everything. So,
So would we have to go out for RFPs on this?
You
No,
do not.
No.
It's a service.
It's a service and everything, and, you know, not saying we won't get another price,
Yeah,
just
we'd
to make
like to
sure
get some
we're in,
prices on this, so
yeah,
say it's competitively bid.
yeah, just to make sure, you know, we're getting
Yep.
a good price.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
You
wanna
know,
just hand it to
and-
somebody without
No.
putting it out there and saying, hey, give us a price.
And there's some other ones, you know, I think the county probably had 3 or 4 that put in for theirs. We
Okay.
can call them, you know, tell them what we want and everything, and,
Yep.
and, so.
Yep, sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right, get my mouse back here. So, anything else for city clerk report, mayor to mayor?
We don't, just, if y'all are good with everything, the way it's presented, at our next meeting, that we've moved from the first meeting of the month to the second meeting of the month, we'll be getting authorization to advertise for a public hearing, and then scheduling that first meeting in September. And then the following week, we would have to have a special called meeting to officially adopt the budget, take the millage, and then that way we would beat the September 15th deadline.
Good. All right, need a motion to spread the budget workshop notice for August 13th, 2024 in the minutes.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Hoffman,
Second.
second, Mr. Salvo, any discussion, let's vote to motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Motion to adjourn, workshop.
Motion.
Motion.
There's a volleyball
Aye,
game
aye,
across the
Thank
street,
y'all.
if anybody's interested.
Thank you, guys.
Bay High's playing Hancock tonight across the street.
Hancock Bay
You
High.
come here to bring me to
Hancock Bay
supper?
High.